After being bumped from SummerSlam, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus finally had their big showdown tonight. But this time, Zoe Stark was banned from ringside. We also saw Shinsuke Nakamura address his attack on Seth freaking Rollins from last week's show, as well as more buildup for the upcoming Payback pay-per-view on September the 2nd. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's episode of Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are maybe awaiting the presence of the Phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we hope to have him back with us Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness. But for right now, Ridiculously Raw on the air, and let's not waste any more time here. You know how we always do it. We got Monday Night Raw here. And then tonight, a special Tony's Take here tonight, as I will be previewing a very special and exciting event coming up. Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling are going to be teaming up. You remember back at the end of March during WrestleMania week, they had a big show? Well, they're doing another one. It's called Multiverse United 2 For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I'm going to, give you the rundown of the card, including a main event that I know is not only going to excite me, but MF, wait till you hear this main event. You're going to love it. So I'll save that for after this. But for right now, let's get into Monday Night Raw. The primary focus of tonight, as we were live from the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, the home of the NHL's Winnipeg Jets. And, we started it off with a 2-for-1 deal. Tell me when that sounds familiar. We started it off with the Judgment Day. As always, the Judgment Day, they had another promo moment. You notice Finn Balor was not out there. Very interesting. And then after that, then you had JD McDonough come out, and then eventually Sami Zayn interrupted, and then it led into our first match of the night: Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, and Sami Zayn wins the match 11 minutes and 45 seconds with the Helluva Kick. Okay. When the promo was, fine promo to start. As far as the match is concerned, I got to give this between 3.25 and 3.5 stars. Sami Zayn did a great job selling his injury while continuing to find ways to take JD McDonough down, and the Irish Ace kept finding ways to attack his arm in return. The match was given 2 segments, so they had more than enough time to tell the story they were trying to tell. Both men looked good and gave us a physical encounter to open the show. Balor came out and pretended like he was going to attack Sami as a distraction, but Sami kicked out of the roll-up, and then Zayn knocked Balor off the apron before hitting McDonough with the Helluva Kick for the win. Dom flinching at the pyro was kind of funny. It was reminiscent of the way Eric Young used to always get scared of his pyro in TNA back in the old days. If Damian Priest ever stops wrestling, he could have a great career in the voiceover industry. It was legitimately hard to hear Dom speak when the crowd booed. Either WWE turned his mic down or the crowd noise way up. And they had some technical difficulties trying to do a replay at one time. But other than that, very good match to start things off here tonight. Like I said, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. But, it doesn't stop here. There's plenty more where this came from, because later on in our main event, Finn Balor went one-on-one with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and wait till you hear how this thing ended. So not much more to say on this. 3.25, 3.5. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. The usual Judgment Day opening segment as always, but oh boy, did we get a nice little payoff here. Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, and Sami winning in 11:45. Very good way to start tonight's show.
Yeah, very good way to start the show. Solid opener, good fight, good battle, enjoyable for the most part. And at the end of the day, yeah. Look, standard prototypical storyline at the very beginning, but it was very good at the end. And yeah, 3 stars for me. Enjoyed it. It's yours.
All right. And MF will lead off on our next thing here. Well, there was a backstage moment. Eventually this had to be addressed. The women's tag team championship situation. We all know about the unfortunate injury to Sonya Deville. She is going to be out indefinitely. She's going to be out for several months. She's pretty much going to be out for the rest of this calendar year. She'll be back sometime in 2024. I don't know if she'll be ready in time for the Women's Royal Rumble match in January. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But if not, then we'll see if there's an outside chance she could be ready for WrestleMania 40 if push comes to shove. But Sonya's out. She tore the ACL, and it appeared as though Anna Pierce was on the verge of stripping of the tag team titles. But Katana Chance and Kaden Carter come in, and they said, well, they told Chelsea, hey, when you find your partner, we want a shot at the titles. But then we noticed somebody attacked Chance there, or Katana, or Kaden Carter. It was Piper Niven. And Piper Niven grabbed one of the belts away from Chelsea and said, I'm your new partner. Interesting. That's very interesting there. So we'll have to
Most
keep an eye
notable, they finally dropped the Doudrop name. She's now her real name.
About damn
Piper Niven. This is and the thing is, the gimmick itself. This is actually Piper Niven of ICW. This is not. Yeah, this is the Piper Niven of ICW. That look, that attitude, that style, that's ICW. She is herself, and if she is truly herself, look out Monday Night Raw. They're going to have a long reign as champions.
And it would be refreshing to see that because I've seen a lot of things on social media and dirt sheets saying that the women's tag team titles are cursed.
Yeah, because of all the people who get hurt after they get the belts. That's why.
Yeah, and they've been booked like I hate to say it, but they've been booked like a joke for the most part since they came into Inception about 2019. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that. But it's certainly not the first time that a promotion has allowed someone to fill. It's not the first time we've seen anything like this. You remember back in 2009 when Edge and Chris Jericho, they were the unified tag team champions, and Edge got hurt. Edge tore his Achilles, and they found a new partner, and they found a more than adequate replacement partner for Chris Jericho, and it ended up being the Big Show, Jarrett Show. We all remember that, and they had a very decent reign as champions. So I kind of wanted to see, like a tournament or something. I would have liked to have seen that, but given the lack of teams, I'm not really going to complain about it. But we'll wait and see what happens. So, anyways, another. Well, in this case, you've heard of the 2-for-1 deal. How about a 3-for-1 deal here? It's not often we say 3-for-1, but we got a 3-for-1 here. Another in-ring segment. This time it was Imperium. They cut a promo, interrupted by the Alpha Academy, and they say their words, and you also notice another standout moment during this. Ludwig Kaiser was hitting on Maxine Dupree, and who can blame him? Because I would have done the exact same thing if it was myself, but I would have been the Ludwig Kaiser. But then again, MF would have been our Gunther, and MF would have put a stop to that. But they turn it off. They're like, yeah, turning it off, sir. Yeah. But anyways, we had not one, but 2 matches that came out of this. First up, we had Chad Gable squaring off against Giovanni Vinci, and Chad Gable won the match 5 minutes and 5 seconds with that Chaos Theory suplex of his. And then immediately after that, Gunther went up against Otis, and Gunther wins the match wins that match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And yes, as the old saying goes, but wait, there's more. Next Monday night on Raw, which will emanate from Quebec City, Quebec, Canada, as WWE continues their little mini tour of Canada here. Quebec City next week, MF. Chad Gable gets the opportunity of a lifetime because Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Chad Gable. Whoa, a lot to digest, a lot to make sense of, but let's do the best we can with it.
All right. Look, I don't know how this is going to play out. This is very interesting. Now, Gable getting a win, no big surprise. It was Giovanni Vinci. That's a good momentum for Gable. For Otis and Gunther, that was a solid match. Good fight, good battle. I think this is like 2 2.25 on both fights because it was 5 minutes long. I say about 2.25 stars on both matches. But both men got good wins. Both men got quality victories. And now we're on the verge to Quebec that could have a very high stakes Intercontinental Championship fight because of the fact Gunther is now the second all time. He just passed Pedro Morales for the second longest reign all time in the history of the Intercontinental title. There's only one man he's got in his rear view, in his sights. That's Honky. I've been saying I think Gunther's gonna break it. Who knows? Gable might be the one. This has a feeling that if there's a guy who could stop him, maybe Gable, but I don't know. I don't see it. But we'll see. It looks like this is gonna be very interesting to see because this is definitely a good match, and I love what Gable's been doing lately. He's been getting a monster push lately, so nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. I'll have to do the quick math in my mind, but I believe today it is day number, 430 for Gunther as champion. When we get to Raw next week, the reign will stand at 437 days. And he will be within 18 or so days of the unreachable star, which is the 36-year-old record of, or 35-year-old record of the Honky Tonk Man. When he dethroned Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as part of a Superstars of Wrestling taping. I believe it was like late May, early June of 1987. And then, of course, we all remember the night he finally lost the title when the Ultimate Warrior squashed him in 31 seconds at the very first SummerSlam in Madison Square Garden, SummerSlam 88. But 454 days, that was about the reign that Honky had. Gunther's at 430. He'll get 7 more days. He'll be at 437. And he still has a bit of a ways to go because remember, we still got the Payback pay-per-view as well. And don't be surprised if they book him for a title defense on that night too. But anyways, what do we make of all this? Well, I'll tell you what. When it comes to the promo segment, promo segment, Ludwig Kaiser had a long exchange with Maxine Dupree that ended with her slapping him across the face. Fun commentary moment. MF being the heel commentator had a little fun with it. When she slapped him in the face, MF did his little grrr, and he would have said, "Wham, bam, thank you, man. May I have another?" Is that right, MF? That's what you would have said.
Yes.
Yeah, when she slapped him, MF would have done his rolling grrr, and he'd be like, "Damn, baby girl," and he'd be like, "Wham, bam, thank you, man. May I have another grrr?" And I'd be like, "My goodness," but nonetheless, all kidding aside, I'm actually going to give both matches 2.5 stars. Both were fun little sprints. Giovanni Vinci, slight size advantage over Chad Gable, and he used it to take control early on. And Master Gable used his superior grappling ability to counter and take him down with ease. And And both of those men are incredibly gifted athletes and wrestlers. So they had no trouble working together despite limited time in the ring together. Before this, most of their encounters were 6-man bouts at house shows. So this was a first-time singles match. And after a great technical exchange, Chad Gable scores the win with his Chaos Theory German suplex. I love that German, by the way. And as soon as the match was over, Gunther challenged Otis to a match so he could get revenge. And then with as far as the big boy fight goes, the be a man fight there. Excuse me. This was two powerhouses trying to hit each other as hard as possible, and it made for a very entertaining encounter. Even though Otis was still doing some of his comedy stuff, he was also being taken seriously as a competitor and portrayed as a threat even to someone as successful as Gunther. And as expected, Gunther got the win, but the fact that he was able to powerbomb Otis to do it was what made it impressive. Gable hit him with his Chaos Theory German suplex to send him out of the ring after the bout was over. Really listen to how ring announcer Samantha Irvin announces each superstar. She does so many different things for so many people. That little sexy intro on Ludwig Kaiser and the Giovanni Vinci, and then she goes all in on Gunther and Imperium. I mean, I love it. And then the way she introduces, like Chelsea Green and all that other stuff. I mean, that's why she is the best ring announcer in the business right now when it comes to WWE. And someone needs to cast the Ludwig Kaiser in a movie once the writer's strikes are over, because he's got that movie villain type thing going for him. I've even heard some people say he would make a great James Bond movie villain. And MF would know all about Bond villains. Because we all know MF loves his Bond movies. So, and it's so easy to underestimate how strong Otis is. He seems to be able to pick up anyone without any effort at all. And both of Otis and Gunther's chops sounded brutal. So I'm actually going to give both matches 2.5 stars. And Gable and Gunther next week in Quebec for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Oh, man, what a match that's going to be. So I cannot wait to see it. All right, next up, we had tag team action as we had Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle squaring off against the Viking Raiders. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle win the match, 9.5 minutes. Drew McIntyre with a Claymore for the win. I'll tell you what, another good match here. This was about 3 to 3.25 stars. Pretty standard tag match. It was nothing to really write home about, but the live crowd seemed to be enjoying itself, so it definitely had people invested. And McIntyre hit Eric with the Claymore for the win. The only thing of notice was Ivar. He had an unfortunate slip when he tried to hit a springboard clothesline. But other than that, another solid match. This is a good 3 to 3.25 stars for this effort. So next week, before I give it to MF, McIntyre and Riddle will be in tag team action again next week. But they're going up against the New Day. Ooh, another good match for Quebec. So that's another match to look forward to next week. So 3 3.25 for this one. So MF, come on in. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle defeating the Viking Raiders, 9.5 minutes. 3 to 3.25 stars is my rating. And on top of that, McIntyre and Riddle will be squaring off against Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day in Quebec next week. So MF, if you're ready, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, no, this is, and it is an interesting situation. Look, solid performance, but the thing is, and a lot of people were wondering, they're like, is this a possible heel turn for the New Day coming up? Are they about to turn heel? I mean, it's possible. I don't know. All I know is that with everything going on, it seems like it's going to be very interesting to watch. Solid performance, great win for the guys, and I mean great win as it relates to Riddle and to McIntyre. And is this going to be down the line? Who knows? But I will say this: it's going to be very interesting to watch. So I really got nothing more to say, Anthony. I'd say probably like a couple stars. About 2.5. So it's yours.
All right. Let's see. All right. Next up, we had the women's world champion, Rhea Ripley, of course, with NXT North American champion Dominic Mysterio in her corner, squaring off against Indy Hartwell, along with Candice LeRae in her corner. Rhea Ripley wins the match 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Pretty much, this was pretty much the worst fight of the night here. Other than a short burst of offense from Hartwell, this was a one-sided affair that ended with Rhea Ripley getting the win with Riptide. And then Candice LeRae went after Rhea Ripley, and then Rhea and they left, and her and Indy left the champ down in the ring as they left up the aisle. It was not much of a match, but it appeared to set up a possible title feud between Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae. So that's something to look forward to. So, but the way Rhea Ripley's shoulder hit the ring post looked good, but WWE has to stop leaning on that spot. It seems like it happens in every match with Brock Lesnar or Braun Strowman as well. Pretty much a dominant win for Ripley, as it should have been. So it was about a 1.5 effort for that. Then we had the in-ring segment, Shinsuke Nakamura. It was an in-ring interview with Michael Cole, which was interrupted by the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And, well, as expected, Nakamura, we knew what Nakamura's intentions were. He wants the World Heavyweight Championship. And you noticed near the end of the segment that Nakamura whispered something in Rollins' ear, and Rollins had this mortified look on his face. And then Nakamura lays him out with another Kinshasa. So we all know this match is eventually going to happen. We don't have a date and a time yet. I think the earliest possible date this goes down, maybe Payback on September 2nd. Wouldn't surprise me if they do that. So, yeah, standard segment there, and no big surprise that Nakamura's intentions were he wanted the title. So, but what I do know is when we eventually get the match, it's gonna be something. I mean, we all remember the great match those two had at the 2018 Survivor Series in LA. When with Rollins representing Raw, Nakamura at SmackDown. Rollins was the Intercontinental Champion. Nakamura was the U.S. Champion. And in one of those champion matches, that Rollins won on what ended up being a dominant night for Monday Night Raw that night. But anyways, let's move on to the first of our two huge main events tonight. This was the match that the rematch we had been waiting for since Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. The man, Becky Lynch, squaring off against Trish Stratus. Of course, Zoe Stark was barred from ringside. Unfortunately, the match ends via a double countout in 11.5 minutes. So, and then they ended up fighting all around the concession area, and then eventually Zoe Stark did show up, and Zoe got to Becky there, and Trish and Zoe stood tall to end it. And but not so fast. You knew there was no way that Anna Pierce was going to let this slide. So we don't have a date or a time for this match as of yet, but they will meet again. And Anna Pierce has said there will be no running, there'll be no interference, because the next time you two meet, you two are going to be meeting inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel temper cage. Whoa, MF. Okay. Whoa. Okay. But MF, unfortunately, this match here ends via double countout, 11.5 minutes. But Anna Pierce has made it official. Trish and Becky one more time in a steel cage, no interference. We don't have a date and time yet. Payback maybe?
Possibly Payback. I probably would say that. look, at the end of the day, yeah, it was something that went down. It was something that should have been done. And, I think a lot of people were a little annoyed and not happy and angry after what happened. But at the end, um, yeah, uh, it is okay. It is okay. So, um, there's really nothing more to add. Uh, Disappointment is the key word because I think we really thought that the match was going to be really good. And at the end, it was, I don't know, just something that we all thought was going to be, remarkable. And it ended up being, it is what it is, as they would say. So what happens now? Who knows? But I will say this: it's going to be one hell of a match down the line if they do get to get it inside the cage. Oh my God, man, this is going to be a fight and a half, and I am for it. So yeah, nothing more to say, and yeah, Anthony, it's back to you, my friend.
Do we want to give this an NA or?
Um, I would not be mad if it was an NA. I mean, you could make an argument that it doesn't deserve it, but I mean, it is what it is.
If I had to put a rating on it, it would be about 3.25 or so. Um, yeah, even though Trish is still in great shape, nobody expects her to have the same kind of matches she had back when she was a full-time performer. She and Becky did a good job, but this bout definitely had some sloppy moments. The match ended in a double countout when they started fighting in the crowd and didn't even try to get back into the ring. They fought up the stairs and into the concourse area. They fought for a long time until Zoe Stark appeared to lend Trish a hand. This ending definitely deflated the crowd. This feud should have ended here, so dragging it out even longer is going to be difficult. Trish lost her mask at one point, and the ref allowed her to take the time to put it back on. And so that was pretty much the only real observation out of this. So about 3 to 3.25 for this. So they announced so next week on Raw we have the big Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship matchup, Gunther versus Chad Gable, and that tag team match with Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle against the New Day. So we'll see how both of those go in Quebec next week. Main event of the evening, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes squaring off against Finn Balor. Cody Rhodes wins the match, 14 minutes and 25 seconds. Damian Priest, Dipsy-Doo Botcharoo once again. He tried to get Finn Balor the briefcase, but Cody intercepted it. Cody laid out Finn with the he nailed Balor with the briefcase and then nailed Priest as well. And then he laid out Balor with the Crossroads for the win in 14:25. But after the match was over, Judgment Day attacked Cody. Dominic Mysterio got the ball rolling. Damian Priest came in. And then Sami Zayn comes out. And he pretty much laid out everybody with a chair until JD McDonough showed up. And McDonough getting some payback for earlier in the night. And then Judgment Day laid out both Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. So that was pretty much all there was. So, okay. Fight of the night here. There's no doubt about it. This is about 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4. The main event of tonight's show saw Finn Balor take on Cody Rhodes. They've met before, but this was more personal than their last bout. Solid main event, but all of the stuff with Judgment Day just felt repetitive. Sami showing up at the end was a nice bonus for the Canadian fans, but he probably ended up regretting his decision after Judgment Day beat him down and put him through the announce table, the ringside announce table, that is. Cody mentioned Finn Balor's time in Japan during an interview earlier in the show, but there was no hint or mention of the fact that both men have been in the Bullet Club. Rhea Ripley is so funny when she trash talks at ringside, and Cody doesn't quite get as much rotation as his brother Dustin does on the Snap Power Slam. Maybe it's because Dustin is so much taller, but other than that, 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4, fight of the night here. And MF, I know there have been, some issues with the Judgment Day, some in-house issues that, as we've always said, one of our running gags, When you have problems, you settle them outside the ring, not inside. But yeah, they settled them inside all right. They're a united front again, and if the four of them, and if you add JD McDonough to that mix as a united front, look out, Raw. Yikes.
Yeah, this could get dangerous, folks. This could get very dangerous. But at the end of the day, this is what we were expecting. This is how it was going to get played out. And yeah, at the end of the night, we have our Jaden McDonough was the difference maker. Now, is that just a one-off? Was that something special? We don't know. But but that there's really nothing more to add. So we'll see how it plays out. But all in all, yeah, it was pretty solid. So nothing more to say there. So Florio, it's yours. This was a solid main event.
All right, MF. Overall review. Monday
Not
Night
bad.
Raw in Winnipeg.
Not bad. Pretty good show. Solid. I say 7.5 out of 10. I thought it, like I said, there was a couple of things that we could have done without, but all in all, I thought it was a solid show. I don't think it was bad in any sense of the word. So 7.5, not bad. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, that's about right. Within that frame, definitely 7.5 out of 10 as well. Tonight's Raw was pretty business as usual. We got some forward progression on a handful of storylines, a couple of fun matches. The ongoing Judgment Day story is the main attraction on Raw these days, but Alpha Academy versus Imperium has become a surprise highlight in recent weeks. Otis versus Gunther and Chad Gable versus Giovanni Vinci were both great and showcased how all four men are capable of putting on entertaining performances at the drop of a hat. Piper Niven returning and declaring herself to be Chelsea Green's new tag team partner was not only hilarious, but it opened up some interesting possibilities for Chelsea's character going forward now that Sonya's on the shelf. So, not much more to say here. I agree with MF's sentiments. It is a 7.5 out of 10. So now we move on. And of course, normally when I do my Tony's Take, it's usually about Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. But for the next couple of weeks, that will not be the case. I'm going to be having for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some special Tony's Takes. I believe for the next the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. And it starts tonight. For the next 3 weeks, actually. So the normal Tony's Take will be back when we have our Labor Day edition of Raw on Labor Day night on September the 4th. So special Tony's Take for the next few weeks, and it starts tonight as I preview a very exciting event coming up that will be taking place this Sunday night on pay-per-view. Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Multiverse United 2, For Whom the Bell Tolls. And it will take place this Sunday night from an arena that MF, I know you hold very near and dear to your heart. The 2300 Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We all know what that used to be. The old ECW Arena. And that's where this event will take place. And the card is pretty much announced, and I'm going to go from top to bottom here. There's going to be 2 matches on the pre-show. On the pre-show, it's going to be Joe Hendry, Yuya Uemura, and Heath Slater. And they're going to be squaring off against Rocky Romero and 6 or 9, Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Waito in a 6-man tag team matchup. That's on the pre-show. Also on the pre-show, for the Impact Digital Media Championship, Kenny King will be defending against Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That's the Digital Media Championship. And MF, if you want to, chime in with any thoughts during this, feel free. Now we go to the main card. On the scramble match, there's going to be a scramble match. Looks like a 6-man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 7-man scramble match. Bushi versus Chris Sabin versus El Desperado versus Frankie Kazarian versus Kevin Knight versus Mao versus Rich Swann. Those 7 men will be squaring off in a scramble match. I don't know if I'm saying this guy's name correctly, but I apologize if I don't. But Sami Callihan will be squaring off against, is it Dukai or Dookie? How do we say this guy's name?
Dukai.
Dukai. Douki.
Yep, Dukai.
Dukai. He'll be squaring off against Sami Callihan there, MF. So, tag team action. You got the X Division champion Lio Rush teaming up with Trey Miguel, and they're going to square off against Speedball Mike Bailey and Hiromu Takahashi.
Yujiro Takahashi, the ticking time bomb. Oh my God. Yep. We're talking about one of the greatest junior heavyweight champions in New Japan. And he is the number 2 guy to Tetsuya Naito of Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Oh.
Yeah. He's the number 2 of that group.
Okay. Then we have a 4-way match for the Strong Women's Championship. Strong Women's Championship on the line in this 4-way match. The champion is Julia. Am I saying that name right? Julia?
Yep, you're right. She was actually the one that just recently won the title. She took it off of Willow Nightingale.
Ah, okay. She's going to be defending against the virtuosa Diana Purrazzo, also against Giselle Shaw, and Momo Kogo.
Momo Kogo. She is actually one of the rising stars of Stardom. You got 2 Stardom girls, Giselle Shaw and the virtuosa Diana Purrazzo, going for this. This was actually announced very recently. So this was actually, as a matter of fact, this actually was announced a couple of nights ago. So this caught everybody by surprise.
How about this tag team matchup? Eddie Edwards is going to team up with Moose to take on TMDK, Shane Haste, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, Lord. Yep.
That's tag team action. Now this is where business is going to pick up. These next 2 matches. We're going to have ourselves a 12-man tag team matchup. They're calling it Bullet Club versus the World. Representing Bullet Club, you got Kenta, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. And MF, I'm sure you know these other three guys. I'm sure you know these guys very well. Let's see if you do. That Bullet Club is going to be teaming up with the Bullet Club War Dogs, Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, and David Finlay.
Now remember, the War Dogs are brand new. This is David Finlay now as leader of the Bullet Club. So this is actually brand new. He took over when Jay White left. Jay White is no longer allowed to wrestle for New Japan ever again. So that's why this event, Jay White would not be allowed to compete. Because he had a fight with who did he fight? Eddie Kingston. That the loser had to leave New Japan. So that's why that happened there. The War Dogs, though, dude, these are bad dudes. So this is interesting to see how that plays out.
Yep, they'll be teaming up with Bullet Club. Those 3, Coughlin, Connors, and Finlay, will be teaming up with Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Kenta. And on the other side, versus the World, you got Josh Alexander, you got PCO, the DKC, and the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and their partner, El Phantasmo. So,
whoa.
That's a 12-man tag for you, MF. There's a 12-man tag right there for you.
And let me tell you, Gorillas of Destiny, I'm telling you right now, it's a damn shame that they're not in a tag team thing. They're kind of clumped into this big matchup because if they're just them on their own, you could easily make an argument that they could be the greatest tag team in the world. Like, we get Young Bucks, you got FTR, you got the Usos, you got New Day. In New Japan, this is the measuring stick. This is the team that everybody watches. This is the team that is the most powerful, the most dominant. They are you want to talk about, we talk about the New Day being the best team in WWE. You talk about, there's a debate, is it the Bucks or is it FTR in AEW? In New Japan, it's Gorillas of Destiny. Hands down, no arguments, nothing. This is the best tag team in the world. And, man, so we'll see. This is going to be wild, man. This is going to be a great 12-man.
I can't wait to see it Sunday night. And then the main event of the evening for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know how I've kept this a secret from MF for so long, but I'm finally letting the cat out of the bag right here and right now. Alex Shelley will be defending the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Nope.
Tanahashi? Wow.
Tanahashi.
Well, all right. Now that's a quite of a main event there. No doubt. So, yeah, great for him. Hey, guys, a great opportunity for Tanahashi, man. He is, like I said, he was the ace of New Japan for a long time, the face of the company. Everybody loved him. He main evented multiple Wrestle Kingdoms in his day. Before Okada was the man, Tanahashi was the guy. Tanahashi was the heart and soul, the frontline soldier of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, I mean, yeah, this is going to be wild, man. This is going to be a great main event. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I'll say that.
Definitely. And that's the card. So Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Fight TV. You can get it off of that. Good deal. I believe I saw it was only $25 for this. So
yeah, so not bad.
No, very good deal. So that all goes down this Sunday night from the 2300 Arena, formerly the ECW Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Multiverse United 2, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Impact Wrestling, a joint production of Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And next Monday night here on Ridiculously Raw, I will have the results. I will not only have the results of that show, but I will also be previewing, because Impact's going to have another show the following Sunday, the 27th. August 27th, friends. Mark that on your calendar, because that is going to be if you're a fan of professional wrestling like myself, MF, Michael Bullock, Dee Woodson, and anybody that we know are, it's a huge day of professional wrestling, a huge day and night, as a matter of fact. It starts high noon and 1 p.m. in the afternoon with AEW All In, Wembley Stadium, London, England, And then later that night, 8 p.m. on Impact Plus, Impact Wrestling is going to have a show of their own called Emergence. And I will run down that card next Monday night on Ridiculously Raw and my Tony's Take. And then the week after that, on the 28th, I will have the recap of that. And then we'll get back to the normal Tony's Take Labor Day night. So there you have it. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. And MF, I'm sure it's going to be the same start times as always for the shows this week.
Yes.
All righty. I figured. So let's run it down. It's the same as it's been the last month or so. Wednesday night, we'll be next with you Wednesday night. The Night Madness. MF will have that. Braves Fan 95. NXT. AEW Dynamite, NMF will need the Big 3 report ready for Wednesday night because we got because Saturday I believe it's the playoffs in the Big 3. So you'll set the table for that because I know those games go down this Saturday at the Capital One Arena in Washington D.C. 2 semifinal matchups and then the championship game the following Saturday at the O2 Arena in London, England, where they just had Money in the Bank last month. So MF will set the table for that as part of Wednesday Night Madness with NXT, AEW Dynamite, NMF's Big 3 report. And then, of course, TXN Sports World will be off for one more week. This will be the last week of our hiatus. The following week, August 24th, the Thursday night, we will return for our season finale when it comes, our regulation show season finale of TXN Sports World when we preview the college football and NFL seasons. And also MF will preview the Big 3 championship game on top of that. So that's on the 24th. And then after Wednesday, of course, we'll be back with you on Saturday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, also with MF, as we will have Friday Night SmackDown. We'll have AEW Collision. And that's it. And then next Monday night, we do it all again for Ridiculously Raw as we continue on the road to Payback. So very exciting content, very exciting stuff coming up in the world of professional wrestling and sports. We still got a bit of a ways to go to get there, but the busy season is fastly approaching, and we cannot wait for it. So that's it. So until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Madness over on the MF channel, Brace 95, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock. And of course, always and forever in spirit, the first lady of our show, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.